Hi everyone, and welcome to Crafting with Giulia. I'm Giulia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. If you enjoy my video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Giulia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of these links are in the description box below. Today I'm so excited to share with you 10 fun and easy items you can make for your Halloween tiered tray. So let's get started. My video today is part of a Minis Challenge playlist hosted by Corie from Crafted by Corie. The link for that playlist is listed below. Project number 1, Halloween tags. This is a quick and fun project I have for you. So this project required my die cut machine, my Cricut die cut machine, and my scroll saw. So what I did was I got the tag pattern on my Cricut, I printed it out, and I traced it onto wood, and then I cut the wood with my scroll saw. So I made the tag. Then I went ahead and I made stencils, vinyl stencils with my Cricut to go on to the tag. So I went ahead and painted them already. I have 2 in black, 2 in white, and this one is in orange. And I already distressed those 2, and now I'm going to just distress this one by taking my sanding block and just going over the edge. I just want to distress the edge. This is a very quick project, and it's fun, and the results are amazing because it's such a great Halloween decoration. You can really make these tags for any holiday. Now we're ready to put the stencils on. So this one here is October 31st. That's going to go right on there. So I'm going to take my scraper and just make sure that the vinyl is all on the transfer tape. And then we're going to peel it back. Hopefully it sticks. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. And we are going to put it right on the wood block. And then scrape it again. And peel it off. October 31st. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Spooky, October 31st. Happy Halloween. Trick or treat. Perfect for your tiered trays. Project number 2, Boo Blocks. This cute little project is adorable. I already went ahead and I cut out 3 blocks of wood, and these measure 4 inches long by 2 1/4 wide. So you got 3 blocks of wood. Then I went ahead and I drilled a hole in the center. I don't know if you could see that hole there. Okay, it goes right through the center to the other side through 3 of the blocks. And I painted them black, and now I distress them, and I distressed 2 of them already, and I will distress the last one now. So with my sanding block, I'm just going to go over the edge. And with my Cricut, I went ahead and I cut out 3 letters in vinyl. We're going to put Boo. So we are going to put the scraper, scrape the letters, make sure it goes onto the transfer tape. Okay, let's peel it back. There we go. So we got B. We are going to put the B on there. Peel it back. Then we're going to put the O on. And the other row. Okay, so now that we have our letters on, I want to run a piece of twine through those holes that I drilled. So to do that, I'm going to guide it through with a wire. So I'm going to take a little bit of painter's tape, and I am going to make a point with the tape, tape the twine to the wire. Like that. So we're going to guide the wire through 1 block. I'm using 16mm beads to separate them. Then go through the other block. Put another bead on. And go through the last block. Okay, now we're ready to cut the string and take the wire out. And we have our blocks. So I want to tie a knot on one end. And then tie a knot on the other end. And there we go. We have a little boo sign to put on our tiered tray. Project number 3, glow-in-the-dark mummy. This is another fun and easy project. This requires just a glass jar. This is a glass Bonnie Maimon jelly jar that I had cleaned, took the label off. You will need some gauze, which I got from Dollar Tree. And I cut this in strips. And you will need some googly eyes and some Mod Podge. So first is we're going to glue the eyes on and then work around there. So I am going to glue the eyes. Okay, and now I am going to put some Mod Podge on the glass, and then we're going to start to wrap. Okay, so we're going to start from the bottom and start in the back and just wrap the gauze around the jar. Okay, so far that's what we have. And now we're going to put a little battery operated tea light in there. And there's our little ghost tea light holder for our tiered tray. Project number 4, Cork Bats. Another quickie but cutie. We're going to make little cork bats. So what you need for this project is a wine cork, which I painted black. You're going to need some black felt for the wings, and you're going to need white cardstock for the fangs, and tiny googly eyes for the eyes. So I cut out this image with my Cricut, and I am just going to now cut the wings. If you have a Cricut, just search for bat wings and a whole bunch of them will come up. This is another adorable addition to your Halloween tiered trays. Okay, so there's our wings. Doesn't matter what the middle looks like because I'm just going to glue it onto the back of the cork. So with a little bit of hot glue, we're going to put the hot glue on the center of the wings and then put the cork right on that. So we have our wings on. Now we're going to grab some tweezers, and we need 2 little googly eyes. So I'm going to grab my googly eyes And we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back. And we're going to put them on the cork. Grab another one. Then we need the white cardstock to make the fangs. So you're just going to cut a little tiny triangle for the fangs. So again, grabbing our tweezers, we're going to put a little dab of glue on the top. And there's our little cork bat. Project number 5, potion bottles. I had these bottles that had vinegar or oil, I don't know, something was in them, and I always keep cool looking bottles. So I had these bottles and I spray painted them black, and I went online and I found these really cool printable labels, Halloween printable labels. So I am going to use a couple of them. I cut them out and I am going to put them on with Mod Podge. So I'm going to take a little bit of Mod Podge, put it on the back of the label. So to finish these bottles, I went ahead and I just painted 2 wood balls. I painted them purple and I'm going to glue them to the top. Okay, and I'm going to make a little bow. So I'm going to take a piece of this glitter tool that I bought at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a little bow. So I'm just going to gather it in the middle. Actually, I think I'm going to double it. Okay, gather it in the middle with some embroidery floss. And tie it. Okay, I'm going to trim it a little bit because I think it's too big. So I'm just going to give it a little trim. Okay, and I'm going to glue it to the bottle. Okay, there's our potion bottles. Project number 6, Beaded Halloween Garland. My beaded garland starts with 41 beads. So I have 8 beads each of 5 different colors. I used, I used Folk Art Licorice Black. I used Folk Art Yellow Citron for the green. Folk Art Wicker White for the white. I'm using Folk Art Lavender for the purple. And Craft Smart Tangerine for the orange. Now, I want to begin and end with the same color, so I have 9 of the black beads, and that's how I get my 41 beads. So what I did was I got a top to a shoebox, and I just cut notches in the sides, and I put my beads on a skewer. So this is the skewer, and I just put my beads on there, and I put the skewer in the notch, and that's how I paint them. Now I've seen people do this various ways. You could spray paint them, of course, and some people put the beads in a plastic baggie with the paint in it, and they add a little water to make it a little liquidy, and they just roll the beads around. I find that method messy. Not only is it messy, but it clogs the hole. So you have to end up taking each piece and putting a wire through to unclog the hole. So I just think it's a lot of work. This is way easier for me anyway. So what you do is you just, well, I put gloves on because I don't like to get my hands full of paint. Squeeze a little bit of the paint on your palette, piece of paper, whatever you're using. You don't need a whole lot. And then you just paint. Just paint your beads. Now I use a wire. Sometimes if the bead spins around, I just use a wire to hold it in place. And you just want to hold it in place and paint. We're going to start by making the end tassel. So I'm going to be using this baker's twine that I got from Dollar Tree. It comes in a little package of 3, and I'm going to be using the purple one. So I am going to wrap it around a 5.5-inch cardboard piece. I'm going to wrap it around maybe 30 times. Okay. Then I'm going to cut a smaller piece, and I'm going to tie the top. And I'm going to double knot it. Then I'm going to put 2 other ribbons that I'm going to be using and tie that and double knot it. Okay, then I'm going to slip it off. And I'm going to cut those 2 long strings off. Then I'm going to take another small piece, actually a longer piece, and we are going to make the head of the tassel. Now you want to make sure that your opening remains open. Okay, so you're going to wrap it around like that. So I'm going to take my twine and I am going to wrap it around like that and tie it off. I'm going to double knot it. Then I'm going to cut the bottom. Okay, and there is our tassel. And I'm just going to give it a little trim. Okay, and there's our tassel. So now we're ready to bead our garland. So I'm going to take a 60-inch piece of twine, and I am going to make a point on both ends with some painter's tape. And this will make the end rigid so that I can bead it through, send it through the beads and through the tassel. So we're going to make a little point on both sides. Okay, so I am going to send it through the tassel. Okay, and then we're going to double knot it. And for now, we're going to leave that piece on. So we're going to take the other end and we're going to stagger the beads. So my pattern is going to be black, orange, and a couple of them I dotted with some black just to give it a little bit of variation. So we're going to go black, orange, green, white, purple. Okay, we're going to do that again. So now we're ready for our tag. So I made this wood tag. I made it with I printed the pattern out with my Cricut. I cut a tag with my Cricut, and I traced it onto wood, and I cut it with my scroll saw. So this is actually a piece of wood that I painted purple. Now, if you don't have a scroll saw, no problem. You can use paper, print it out on paper. You can find if you don't have a Cricut, you can find a tag image on the internet, print it out and trace it on paper. You can also use those tags that you get at Dollar Tree. They're chalkboard tags. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can use if you don't have a scroll saw. And then I went ahead and I printed and cut this image with my Cricut also. It's in vinyl. So I am going to now put this image onto the tag. So I'm going to give it a little scrape, pull off the back, okay, and I am going to put it onto my tag. So I'm going to lay it on the tag. And now I'm going to scrape it. Okay, and there is my image on the tag. Okay, now I'm going to put it through. The wrong way. I'm going to put it through, and I am going to now knot it. Okay. And now the reason why I left this piece is because this is how I'm going to get rid of this end. I'm going to push it back up through the beads so that I'll hide that tail. Push it up through a couple of the beads. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it right there. Okay, and that's how you get rid of the tail. You do the same thing with this. Now, this I made a little too long, so I'm going to cut it And I'm going to make another point so that I could put it up through the beads. Just put it up through 3 beads and then cut it. Okay, and there's our Halloween garland with our tag attached to it. Perfect for the tiered trays. Project number 7, glow-in-the-dark ghosts. For this little guy, we are going to need a mixture of Mod Podge and water. You want it to be a little watery. You're going to need a battery-operated candle, some flour sack cloth, a small rubber band, a 9-inch circle template, and I made this out of things from Dollar Tree. This is a shot cup and a ping pong ball that I glued together. So that's what you're going to need. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw your circle. And we're going to cut that out. Okay, next you're going to get a piece of wax paper, lay it down. You're going to mix up your mixture here. I put gloves on so my hands won't get all sticky. You're going to submerge the material into the Mod Podge mixture. Get it all nice and soaked in there. And then squeeze it out. Then you're going to get your ball and your shot cup. And now we're just going to lay that right over the ball. And we're going to straighten out the bottom. Want to make sure it's centered on the ball. Okay. Then we're going to get the rubber band. And you're going to go right over the ball and you're going to make the head of the ghost, just like that. Okay, now you want to just flatten down the sides. Okay, and that's it. Now we're going to wait for that to dry. Okay, our ghost is dry, and now we're ready to remove it from the underside. So with some tweezers, we're going to remove the rubber band. Okay, so the rubber band is removed, and now we're going to gently remove it from the underside. Okay, so that comes out, and form it back into your ghost. Okay, and now we're going to take some black paint, and we're just going to draw the eyes and the mouth. And there's our ghost. So you take your battery operated candle, put it underneath, and you have your little ghost. Project number 8, Flower Fairy Witch. To start the witch, you're going to need an 18-inch floral stem wire that you're going to just fold in half like that. You're also going to need either yarn or embroidery thread. I'm using yarn. I have a 6-inch template here. I just turned it around maybe 30 times. Then I'm going to tie the one end with some thread. Okay, and then you're going to cut the bottom and just trim off this piece here. Okay, and that's the hair. Now I'm using yarn. You can also use embroidery thread. You will need the whole thing. You just slip off the labels, and you're going to put the wire in through the hole here and bring it up around and then cut the bottom part. So I am going to take my hair and I'm going to put it around the wire And now I'm going to take a bead. I'm using a 30mm wooden bead and it has the holes in it. And you're going to slip the wire through the hole and bring it all the way to the top. Like that. Okay, so that is the hair and the face. Now, you're going to make the neck, so you're going to take the 2 wires and you're just going to twirl it around about maybe 2 or 3 times, and that makes the neck. Now we're going to make the arms. So you're going to separate the 2 wires and you're going to come out maybe 2 inches for the arm. So measure 2 inches right there and then bring the arm back around to there. Close it up and then twist it around the body and bring it down. And that will be one side. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to take it and do 2 inches. Bring it around. Close it up. Bring it around the body to the other side. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay, now we're going to make the body. So we are now going to twist the torso and make the body. So we're going to just twist it maybe 2 or 3 times, like that. And then those are our legs. Okay, so that is the body for our doll. Okay, now you're going to grab some embroidery thread. Now I'm going to make her body, she's going to be a witch, so I'm going to make her body green. So taking our embroidery thread, we are going to just put a little bit of glue on the torso and we're going to start wrapping. So I'm just going to wrap it a couple of times around the torso and then I'm going to go up to the arm. Okay, we're going to go up to the arm and just keep wrapping. Okay, then when we get to the end, you're going to put a little bit of glue. And then we're going to come back and go over what we just did. Come back this way. Keep wrapping. Then we're going to make a cross on the body. Go across this way. And then we're going to go up the neck. Up the neck and then go down the neck. Okay, then we're going to go across the body again like that. And then we're going to go around the other arm. Okay, again, we're going to go across the body a couple of times, and then we're going to go down the torso. Okay, and when we reach the leg, we're going to go down one leg. So I'm going to lift this part up so it doesn't get in the way, and we're just going to go down one leg. Put some glue. And go back up the leg. And then put a little bit of glue to close it off. Okay, and then we're going to cut it right there. So far, there's our body. Okay, now I'm going to take some black embroidery thread, and we are going to make the top of our dress. So I'm going to put some glue on the torso, and I'm going to wrap the black around the torso and make the top. Okay, so now we have our shirt on the doll. Okay, now for the fun part. So you're going to get some faux flowers, and you're going to pull them apart. You're going to pull the petals off, pull them apart. And if your flowers have small to large, you're going to start with the small, because the small has to be on the top. But my petals are all the same size, so I am just going to stagger them like that. And I'm going to fold them in half and make a little snip so that I can put it over the doll. So we're gonna slide her legs into that slit. And you're going to push it all the way up. Like that. And we're going to put a little bit of glue so that it stays. Then we're going to slide the next one up. So now I'm ready to add a little sash to her waist. So I am going to put a little dab of glue on the back. And I'm going to use some purple embroidery thread. And I'm just going to run it around her waist and give her a little belt or a sash. Okay, and then glue the back. And snip it off. Okay, so she has a little belt now. And now we're going to make her hat. So I already made one. I already made her hat, but I am going to show you how to make a hat. Very simple. So you just get something in a circle shape. I use this because it's small enough. This is the size that I wanted. So get your size that you want. And you are going to trace it on black felt and cut it out. So there's your circle. Then you're going to get another piece of felt and just cut out a square about the same size as your circle, but only in a square, okay? And you are going to just roll it up. So you're going to take the point and you're going to roll right into it. Like this. Okay, so you're gonna get some glue. Put some glue down and you're going to roll your fabric. Put some more glue and just keep rolling. Okay, and there's your hat. So now you're going to cut that piece off. And just glue it onto the circle. And there's your hat, which is hat. So I went ahead and I made mine already, and I am going to snip the center so that I can put it on her head. So we're going to snip out the center, make a little hole so that it fits on top of her head. Okay, we're going to take it and we're just going to glue it to the top of her head. Okay, so we have our hat on. And I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, I put wire in here so that I could bend it. You could do the same. So you're going to take some wire and take your hat. You're going to snip the center, make a hole, and just pass your wire through there. And then you can bend it however you like it. Okay, and then you're just going to snip your wire. And you could bend it. Okay. And now I'm going to add some embellishment. So I'm going to take, I found this piece in my stash. I thought it was very pretty, and I'd like to add it to my hat. However, it's not long enough to go all the way to the back, so I'm going to have to put a bow or something back there. So first I'm going to glue that on. Okay, like that. And now I'm going to take some purple tulle, it's sparkly, that I got from Dollar Tree. And we're going to make a little bow for the back. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to take some embroidery thread. And I'm going to make a little bow. So I'm going to cinch it in the middle. And tie it around. Okay. And then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because that's a little bit too big. So I'm just going to fold it in half. And cut it. And I'm going to add that to the back, like that. Okay, so far. And then in the back, to hide the black embroidery, I'm going to use one of these little gems. Put some glue on there and just put it in the back like that. Okay, so now we are ready to make her face. So I'm just going to take a black marker pen and just draw her eyes. Okay, and there's her little face. And then we are going to add her broom, which I made out of a dowel. And I just put some raffia and attached it around and knotted it. And now we're going to put some tulle around that. So I'm just going to take a piece of tulle, cut it lengthwise. Just put some glue there. And we're just going to wrap it around. Okay, and there's our witch with her broom. Project number 9, Vampire Gnome. So we're going to start the body by getting, this is the top of a tube sock. So I am going to sew the one end. Now you can use the bottom of the tube sock, and then you don't have to do this. You could just use the bottom. But I am going to fold this inside out, and we're going to run a stitch around the bottom and to close this off. So I'm just going to go around like this. This was a leftover piece that I had. That's why I don't have the bottom of the sock. Otherwise, I would have used that. Okay, so we're just going to pull it closed. And tie a knot. Okay. All right, so we're going to turn it right side out. So we have a nice closed bottom. And now we are going to fill it with poly pellets. So these are poly, this is what I use to fill my dolls with for weight on the bottom. So we're just going to take a funnel and pour some poly pellets in. Okay, then we're just going to twist it off and close it up with a rubber band. Okay, and that's our base. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to put our beard on. So I'm using faux fur that I got from Amazon, and this is just a remnant piece that I had, but I'm still going to trim it. So this is how you cut the fur. You want to turn it around to the fabric part and only cut the fabric. So you're going to get right under there and only cut the fabric and not the fur. So I'm going to make a little triangle and I'm going to shorten it. So I am going to cut it right under the fur. Grab the fabric and cut just the fabric, and I'm going to make a triangle. Okay, and then when you pull it apart, you'll see that the fur did not get cut. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I want to grab the fabric, and I'm only going to cut the fabric. Okay. And now I am going to make it a little shorter. Okay. And I'm going to take a comb and comb it out. Okay, and that's our beard. And then I'm going to make a little mustache by pulling the sides. Okay, and I'm going to glue that on there. Like that. And then I am using a 25mm wood ball that I am going to put on there as the nose. Okay, then we have the hat that I already made, and we're going to put that on like that. So I'm going to get a little bit of polyfill. And we're going to stuff the hat a little bit, just to give it some form. Okay, and then we're going to put it on the head. So again, taking some glue, go around the edge. And we're going to put it right over the top. Now we're going to make little fangs. We're going to grab a stiff piece of white felt, and I'm just going to make little triangles for the fangs. And I'm going to just place them under the mustache. Like that. Okay, so far. So for the cape, this is my pattern. And I got this really cool sparkly black felt. And I'm going to be using this as the outer lining and this as the inner lining, the red felt. And these links will be in the description below. I got these on Amazon. So I'm going to put the felt right sides together. And we're going to trace the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to sew right on the line, but I'm going to leave an opening so that I can turn it right side out. So after it's sewn, I just attached it to the back of the body with hot glue. And there's our vampire gnome. Project number 10, Halloween houses. So I cut 2 pieces of wood in the shape of a house. I cut this out with a regular saw. And I painted the sides of this one black and the sides of this one purple to coordinate with my fabric. So I have 2 fabric pieces that I am going to trace the front and back of the house. Okay, that's for that one. And now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Now I'm going to take a little Mod Podge and I'm going to Mod Podge that onto the house. Okay, so our fabric is on the house, and now I'm going to take an emery board and I am just going to stress the fabric and try to scrape it off. Now we're going to grab some black twine and we're going to tie it around the house a couple of times. And we're going to tie it in a knot. And I'm going to attach my little cat charm to it. Okay, there's our one house.